Lawrence Bender, legendary Hollywood producer. Filmography boasts 36 Oscar nominations and over 8 wins, from cult classics to pioneering social causes.
Well, I got a number. How do you like them apples?
Join me as we discover just a glimpse into what goes into becoming a producer, why it was so important for him to create Red Alert after October 7th, and a few stories along the way.
Good evening.
Great
Citizens.
Down and out.
Never surrender.
He's done it.
Famous victory. We're going to come back.
Turn to glory.
For Tisha B'Av, our tradition is, all of our mates, we always watch, you've got to watch a Holocaust movie. So we always watch Inglourious Basterds. Thank you for giving us that, mate. Appreciate it.
We screened it in Tel Aviv, 2009.
No shit.
Quentin and I came to Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
We went to the Vashem that morning, and that evening we had an amazing screening.
Wow. So what was that like? Where Schindler's List obviously has that intensity and gravitas that we all feel as Jews.
Mm-hmm.
But Quentin brought an element of almost that Jewish chutzpah to Holocaust films.
Each and every man under my command owes me 100 Nazi scalps. And I want my scalps.
A Teddy fucking ball game. He went yacht on that one. On to fucking Lansdowne Street. You.
And to the story, which we all know from our grandparents or parents or so on and so forth. What was that experience like working there?
Working with Quentin on Inglourious Basterds?
Yeah.
What was that experience?
And that mindset.
That
chutzpah to the story mindset.
We could do an entire book and many days of conversations about this. But Quentin said to me when he, before we started shooting or making or prepping Inglourious Basterds, he said, I want to make it like we're making our first movie, our first couple movies. I want to be a young person's film. I want to be like a young person filmmaker. We made a few movies already together, and he made some others without me. And he said, I want you to give me what I need, not what I want. I want to have to steal from Peter to pay Paul. I want to be forced to be in that kind of, young person. You don't have everything you need, so you have to figure it out with creativity. And that was the energy of the set. That was the energy of the filmmaking. Wow.
And that having a laugh or having that positive twist on such an intensely dark story. What was that mindset like going into it, especially as a producer where you have to think about the other side and how the audience is going to react to such a conversation?
Honestly, I read that script. I put it down. I picked it up. I read it again. I picked up the phone and I called him. He sent it to me. I had a phone machine at the time. And I just gushed. I mean, you read that script. It's an incredible read. What can I say? It's like there's no words to describe. And then when you get to that moment, and I'm not giving anything away because hopefully everyone's seen Inglourious Basterds at this point, when they kill Hitler, it's like, what? Holy shit. This is outrageous. This is amazing. So, yeah, I mean, it was like, I couldn't have been more excited as a Jew, as to make the movie with Quentin in the first place, to make this movie. It was really exciting to read that script.
When it comes to scripts and the excitement of reading scripts and that mindset, can you give us a little insight on what you have to be thinking about, or is it really just how much do I enjoy the read?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Meaning, is it when you're reading a script? I'm veering away from Inglourious Basterds.
Yeah.
When reading a script, from a producer's perspective, do you trust your gut, or is it also thinking about all the little aspects of different audiences and different ways to market the film?
I mean, everybody reads scripts differently, in different positions. I read a script first, just as a fan, as someone who's going to watch the movie. And I'm just reading the script and visualizing it, and I'm just taking it in, and then it just depends. is this a great director who gave it to me? Is this a spec? Is it an idea? I've read, many scripts that I thought were just wonderful, but needed a lot of development. I made a movie called The Harder They Fall. That the script, his first draft, that script was a mess, but there was something about it that was like, wow, there's something really cool about this. And at the time, the guy was a friend of mine. I said, it's a mess, but you got something here. Let's work on this together. And then there'd be Idris Elba, Regina King, Zazie Beetz, Keith Stanfield. It was a wonderful movie on Netflix.
Please.
So it really depends.
When it comes to producing passion projects and things that you believe in, like, for example, Red Alert, what's the mindset that goes into that when you're saying, I want this created rather than getting a script brought to you?
So in the beginning, a group of us got together for various reasons. There was myself, Georgiana Rubin in America. There was Green Productions in Israel, Shani Shur and Maya Fisher. And then there was Keshet, and then there's the JNF, IEF. So it's like a story unto itself, how we all came together. But when we came together, and then it was like, are we shooting this in Hebrew or English? Do we want to make it a movie or a TV show? Because my feeling was, from my point of view, it's like soon after October 7th, it became clear that the very people who are attacked are the very people that people are against. For some odd reason, this is the crazy world that's turned upside down. So I wanted to show the reason why we are here today. Something happened on October 7th. Forget politics. Something happened on that day, and it was a big, tragic day. And if people would just go back to this original kind of moment and understands the truth, and we can dramatize it, so it's something that people get pulled into to watch as a piece of entertainment. It's a TV show, and yet get pulled in and have an emotional feeling, and then also understand that it's real. Then even more so with the hostages being home, that if people understood what the truth was, maybe we can start to really create everlasting or long-lasting peace, longer-lasting peace. So that was my intention. So as we were going through the different stories, and it started to become clear, because we wanted to show Israel as a whole. So people don't realize that there are lots of Arabs that live in Israel, right? Mm-hmm. And there are Arabs that were killed on October 7th. We wanted to show something from Nova, because Nova is something that the world knows. But most people don't realize or remember is that there are a lot of police officers that were killed. Not just young people, but also police officers who were killed. And they're not SWAT team people who are used to doing battle. No. They're everyday people who are in a small community. We wanted to show something that has a universal feeling. And what's universal are family. Families have a universal feeling. So a lot of the stories are about family. A mother trying to save her son, a father with his little infant, a mother, who sees her son dragged off into Gaza, and she has to save her daughter. They're all just normal, everyday people. They're underdogs, and they rise and become superheroes. And it's like the Viktor Frankl song. It's like Viktor Frankl says, people have this agency in this moment, in these dark, dark moments, you still have agency. And what you see is these Israelis, people, everyday, ordinary people, trying to save their neighbor under duress, right? Instead of trying to save themselves or save their own, they're saving their neighbors. The humanity comes out. And this is what I think makes it really relatable to a wide audience, is the humanity of just everyday, ordinary people.
כשהייתי ילד היו ניסים לשנות.
ולא פחדת?
יודעת שאני יכול עליך.
זה בקיבוץ?
When producing the show and bringing it to Hollywood and trying to say, I want to tell this story from October 7th, from the side of Israel or of the victims, how much pushback did you get with friends, colleagues, or the community as a whole?
Honestly, I didn't look for pushback. I wasn't asking for pushback. I was asking for people's opinions. For me, I made a decision on October 8th. I got to do something to help my people, right? I've been making movies and TV shows about all different types of people my whole career, almost 40 years now of making movies and TV shows.
Since you were 7.
Exactly. So I said, okay, it's really important for you to focus on my people. I never looked back. I never looked sideways. It became a mission for me on a very personal basis. And it became a life-changing journey because I spent every Saturday night I was in Israel, I was at Hafsa Square. I was taken down to the Gaza envelope and spent time in Nero's, Berry, Reim, Sderot, the Nover. I just spent I spent time really understanding and taking in the people who have been affected. Those people came onto the set and watched as we filmed their stories, which was very emotional. But you also remember, me and Jordana Rubin, the only non-Israelis on the crew. Every single crew member had been through October 7th. Our key grip's brother runs the kibbutz Reim. That was attacked. He survived. But at some point, everybody in the show had a moment, at least,
That's beautiful.
But you asked me a question, which I diverted from. You asked me, what about LA and what about selling the picture and so forth? So it got to a point where it's time to sell the movie, sell the show. And we were planning on selling it in early September. Well, Israel just bombed Qatar. And it's all people talking about. And there's this is not a good time. And then the Hollywood community starts to boycott Israeli filmmakers and Israeli production companies. Oh my God, there's so much anti-Israel stuff going on and anti-Jewish stuff going on. And it's I had to call all my investors. I literally had to sit them down and say, our plan was to sell this now. We're not doing it. We're going to just fail. We're just going to fail. And once you go out and sell something and they pass, there's no second chance. It's done. So at that point, right when all this is happening, and these are tough conversations with your investors, right? I'm at a memorial for Skip Brittenham, may his memory be a blessing. He's a great lawyer. He's like the Mount Rushmore of lawyers in Hollywood. He's this beautiful man, big deal maker, macher of all machers. And I'm at the memorial and I run into David Ellison. I know David over the last 20 years. I don't know him well, but friendly and always been nice. And I said, wow, I got something I have to tell you about. And I started to tell him about our show. He's like, whoa. This is amazing. This is seriously, the timing could not be more important. Please let me see this. So I sent him everything and he was very complimentary and said, yes, please let me be involved with this. It would be in my honor to be involved. And it's just David Ellison talking to me. I was pretty humbled, very humbled. And then we made a deal in 2 days. I think ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then I know he gave it to Cindy Holland, who's the person in charge of all Paramount Plus. And the decision came back. We have to drop it all on October 7th, all 4 episodes. Well, I given David pretty much a locked picture, but we had temporary sound, temporary music, temporary visual effects. And we had not even 2 weeks before October 7th.
Yeah.
So Israel team is going triple, shifts. I'm up at I work all day in LA, and then 11 o'clock at night, which is 9 o'clock in Israel, I start the Israel day. I literally work 24 hours a day, a couple hours sleep here. In between, like I give some notes on visual effects. I take a nap for an hour and a half. I'd wake up and get back, after I worked on that. That was for like 10 days.
It kind of brings this conversation full circle to the Inglourious Basterds aspect of having to do it like you did when you first began, like I'm sure you did on Reservoir Dogs.
100%. It really was what it was. We raised a lot more money. It was important for me to have a global show. And Israel filmmakers don't have a lot of money because it tends for their market small. So I said, no, we need to raise more money. It needs to be a bigger show. We need to have more stuff. So it looks more like a global. So it was but given that, it was still a tiny crew, everyone's got a lot of chutzpah, and it was very much like a young filmmaker.
To those who are looking at the film industry now and looking to say, is this a career that I want to go into? So many people with ambition and have a fear of being Jewish. What would you say to them?
It's easy for someone in my position to give advice because I've been doing this for decades. I've had a lot of success. It's easy for me to say, just go do it, because I know how hard it is. So in anything in this field, whether you're an actor or a director or a producer or a writer, you have to really want it. And you have to be able to be able to suffer for a while and not making money and be a starving artist for a long time. Because this is the life of getting to that position. When I first moved to LA, I bought a $400 car. I called it my BGT, my big green thing. It was big enough to sleep in. I never had to, but I was sleeping on the script supervisor couch, getting fed on the set.
Bloody oath.
That kind of thing. So you have to be willing, you're going to have to love it that much. But if you have a passion for it, and you're Jewish, it shouldn't stop you.
Thank you very, very much for your time. Very much appreciate it. And you're an inspiration.
Thank you, man.
Cheers.
Cheers.
לראות אם צריך עזרה. לך כפר, אלוהים ישמור אותך.
את נורמלית לאן שלחת אותו? חיים שלי, הרובי.
אני בא אלייך, לוחמים!
צועים אליי! בן שלי, ראית את הבן שלי?
אני אהיה פה מחוץ לדלת.
הם יחזרו.
אבו שאתה שם?
פליז, not the wallet. לא יכול להיות שם לבד.
סבי, בחייתך, חלאס, בחייתך.
אני מחתן את הבת שלי עוד שבועיים. אתה חתני, אתה בא לי בדרך.
אנחנו קרובים חיים שלי.
Come with us.
You took already one child.
בואי נלך הביתה.